Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum, gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88-888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier. Looking to build a better future in the Gulf? Exciting job opportunities in Saudi Arabia for Kenyans. Competitive Manpower International Limited is currently recruiting for a wide range of skilled and semi-skilled positions. We are now hiring helpers for 1,200 Saudi riyals, steel fixers at 1,500 Saudi riyals, shuttering carpenters at 1,500 Saudi riyals, masons at 1,500 Saudi riyals, charge hands at 1,500 Saudi riyals, foremen at 1,800 Saudi riyals, scaffolders at 1,200 Saudi riyals, welders at 1,500 Saudi riyals, and plumbers at 1,500 Saudi riyals. Call us today on 020-222-4844 or 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Act fast, opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates.
Well, a good evening to you. Welcome. This is CBS News at 9 p.m. My name is Shadrach Karerian. Thank you for joining us.
I am Patricia ALWANGA. Keep it at CBS News Kenya. Follow us and keep engaging us at CBS News Kenya on Facebook, X, and also on YouTube.
But before we begin our bulletin tonight, let's first get the highlights.
Yeah.
Tonight on 9 p.m. News, Pope Francis said to be buried at St. Peter's Basilica on Saturday. Burial ceremony set to begin at 10 a.m.
Yani kila kitu ya nyumba imelaliwa huko. Nimebaki bila kitu.
Flash floods sweeps houses in Murang'a as businesses were distracted in Nairobi.
If one is not employed and one has to cough out over 200,000 to buy an employment form, where did this person get this money? Are you human in your action? Are you human?
Kenya National Union of Teachers NAT blasts TSC over claims of interference on teachers' employment process.
Well, we urge you to stay with us until the end of the bulletin, as we still have a lot lined up for you tonight.
But first, let's have our first story. The funeral of Pope Francis has been scheduled for 10 a.m. on Saturday, according to an announcement from the Vatican. The Pope, who died on Monday morning after suffering a stroke and heart failure at the age of 88, will be laid to buried at St. Peter's Basilica.
Now, the announcement was made following a meeting of the college cardinals at the Catholic Church city-state headquarters in the heart of Rome. Now, the coffin carrying the body of Pope will be taken in a procession Wednesday morning, accompanied by cardinals. To Basilica from the residence of Casa Santa Marta, where he died. Cynthia Musioki has the story.
Pope Francis, beloved global pontiff and champion of the marginalized, dies at 88 in Vatican City. Pope Francis, the 266th leader of the Roman Catholic Church and one of the most influential moral voices of the 21st century, has died today in Vatican City at the age of 88. The news of his passing was confirmed by Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni and has sparked an overwhelming wave of mourning across continents, with tributes pouring in from heads of state, religious leaders, and millions of faithful believers around the world. Born George Mario Bergoglio in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on December 17, 1936, Pope Francis was a man shaped by humility, faith, and a deep commitment to serving the poor. In 2013, his election to the papacy broke centuries-old traditions. He became the first pope from Latin America, the first Jesuit to be elected, and the first non-European to lead the Catholic Church in over 1,200 years. His accession marked the beginning of a papacy defined by reform, compassion, and a renewed call for global solidarity.
We spoke about him often because he was widely known and respected.
Throughout his 12-year tenure, Pope Francis was revered not only as a religious figure, but also as a global moral compass. He consistently used his platform to address pressing global issues, from climate change and economic inequality to refugee rights and human dignity. His groundbreaking encyclical Laudato Si positioned environmental case as a sacred duty, calling on humans to protect our common home with urgency and conviction. Beyond his words, Pope Francis was known for his symbolic gestures, washing the feet of prisoners, embracing the sick, opening the Vatican to the homeless, and choosing to live in a modest guest house rather than the traditional papal apartments. This act underscored his commitment to humility and his desire to bring the church closer to ordinary people.
Fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
Just weeks before his passing, the Holy Father made a surprise appearance at the Easter Sunday Mass in St. Peter's Square, offering an apostolic blessings to thousands of worshippers. It was a moment that brought tears to many, as his frailty was evident, but so too was his unwavering spirit. Pope Francis had a deep connection to Africa, and Kenya in particular. He visited the country twice, first in October 2015 and again in January 2023. During his historic visits, he was received with great warmth and admiration. In 2015, he met with then-President Uhuru Kenyatta, led open-air mass attended by hundreds of thousands, and ventured into some of Nairobi's most impoverished areas, including Kangemi slum. There, he spoke powerfully against inequality, urging both leaders and citizens to uphold the dignity of every human being.
Feriscono o disprezzano le donne.
We are also called to resist practices which foster arrogance in men, hurt or demean women, ignore the elderly, and threaten the life of the innocent unborn. We are called to respect and encourage one another and to reach out to all those in need.
In his 2023 visit, the Pope emphasized youth empowerment, environmental justice, and interreligious harmony. He addressed local leaders and the clergy with clarity and purpose, reinforcing his consistent message of peace, dialogue, and the urgent need for integrity in leadership.
Let us offer each other the sign.
News of his death has been met with profound sorrow across Kenya, where many Catholics and non-Catholics alike have remembered him as a humble servant of God whose presence uplifted the nation. In churches, homes, and on social media, Kenyans have shared memories of his visits, his messages of unity, and his global advocacy for justice.
Nimesikia hizo news za Pope Francis. I say all the condolences in Catholic wote. Mimi Pope Francis nilikuwa nimeona on Sunday. Nilikuwa nimeona ako sawa. Roho yake yeko pale pema poponi.
Honoring his personal wishes, Pope Francis will be laid to rest in Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. This choice marks a departure from the tradition of papal burials in the Vatican grottos beneath St. Peter's Basilica. His legacy, however, transcends borders and doctrines. He will be remembered as a transformative leader who dared to reimagine the role of the Church in a changing world, always choosing mercy over judgment, dialogue over division, and love over indifference. May his soul rest in peace. Cynthia Musyoki, CBS News, Nairobi.
Well, thank you, Cynthia Musyoki, for that well-detailed report. And on behalf of CBS News fraternity, we say rest in peace, Pope Francis. Now, moving on to other stories, the Kenyan National Union of Teachers, NAT, has strongly criticized the Teachers Service Commission, TSC, for what it terms as political interference in the recruitment of teachers.
NAT Secretary General Colin Soyua accused the TSC of abandoning its mandate, allowing politicians to distribute appointment letters during political rallies. Richard Saka has the story.
Speaking to journalists, Oyu condemned the TSC for neglecting its duties and allowing politicians to abuse teachers' employment opportunities.
TSC has the mandate to recruit and employ teachers. What we saw the other day was shocking. You know, we cannot condemn teachers who have been employed, but we must talk about the kind of employment that came in. Have you ever seen employment of teachers before, where forms are being dished in burial places? Chiefs barazas. Somebody using employment of teachers for political mileage. That look here, I've employed this number. Who are you to say that you have employed? Are you Teacher Service Commission? You're not. You're not. And if you chance to get through your own means an employment form which shall give a letter to one teacher to be employed, why don't you apply this with decorum? Teaching profession is not like any other profession. It is not sensible to pick on a teacher who just completed college in 2024, 2023, and you know too well that in the same village, there's one who completed college in 2011. It is so demoralizing.
Oyu was accompanied by NAT National Chairman Malel Lagat, stated that this situation has enabled corrupt politicians to exploit teaching job opportunities for their personal gain, alleging that some job offers letters have been sold to the highest bidder.
Some of these forms were even sold by some politicians who did not even see the need to be a bit human about it. If one is not employed and one has to cough out over 200,000 to buy an employment form, where did this person get this money? Are you human in your action? Are you human? I think this should be condemned in the highest level possible.
At the same time, the Secretary General complained about teachers being denied medical services at public hospitals due to insurance dispute. He called for a thorough investigation of the companies handling teachers' health insurance to ensure their capability of providing quality services to the teachers.
Why must a teacher who has actually sacrificed and is on medical comprehensive medical cover be sent away, yet he has contributed. Yes, comprehensively we are covered, but not every teacher gets sick every other time. The small number that gets sick should be taken care of. And in the best way, the services should be commensurate to what they contribute for the cover. It has not happened of late. And I think the service providers who have been picked to handle teachers in matters health, I think should be checked. Some of these service providers are very substandard in nature and cannot do what is expected and handle teachers in matters health as expected.
Saka Richard, CBS News, Nairobi.
Now to our next story, a heavy downpour pounded parts of Nairobi, including Embakasi and Kasarani, on Easter Monday night. Flooding streets and disrupting normal activities, the meteorological department has warned that the rains will continue across the country until 28th, urging the motorists to exercise caution on the roads.
Now, the residents in the affected areas, the meteorological department has also warned the rains will continue across the country until the April 28th, now urging motorists to exercise cautions on the roads. Now, the residents in the affected areas reported blocked drainage systems and traffic snarl-ups. As the relentless rainfall submerged major roads, authorities are yet to issue a full assessment of the damage caused by the overnight downpour.
Road transport services were severely disrupted following heavy rains that triggered widespread flooding across several roads. Motorists were stranded as key roads remained submerged, making them impassable. Residents are now urged to avoid affected areas and to use alternative routes where possible. Members of the public are advised to remain vigilant and stay tuned for further updates.
This was the situation last night as rains continued to pound Mirema, leaving residents with flooded roads and disrupted transport services. They are now urging the government to implement drainage solutions and curb the current situation. Cynthia Mosioki, CBS News, Nairobi County.
Now, residents of Huruma in Uasin Gishu County are demanding an explanation about how a piece of public land, which was compulsorily acquired by the government years ago, has ended up in hands of a private individual whom they claim is now seeking to evict them.
According to reports, the government spent 7 million shillings compensating the original landowners following a court directive at the time of acquisition. Jep Koechkori reports the story.
The outcry comes after the individual fenced off the 10-acre parcel of land which had been earmarked for the construction of Huruma Hospital, a community football pitch, and had long served as a venue for public rallies and other social gatherings. According to reports, the government had compensated over 7 million shillings for the land, following a court directive at the time of acquisition.
Ukikuja entry number 4, hakuna entry number 5. Waliruka entry number 5, wakakuja entry number 6, ndio wakafanya reissuance of the title deed. Kumaanisha title hii shamba ilikuwa imepotea, ndio ikakuwa reissued in 2011 tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. So tunataka tujue hii title ilipotea ilikuwa kwa majina ya nani, ilikuwa reissued upya ilikuwa kwa majina ya nani.
However, despite the compensation and the intended public use, the land has since been occupied and controlled by a private individual, contrary to the court's original guidance.
Wale wenye sauti ya wanyonge tunasema hivi, tufuate sheria, tupate haki yetu. Mheshimiwa, kama reply title deed haisome jina yake, tunataka tujue mwenye shamba ni nani na atupatie playground, kwa sababu shida yetu tuko nayo saa hii ni yule uongozi tulikuwa nao nyuma. Kwa sababu ule uongozi wa nyuma wangefuatilia hii maneno, hata tungekuwa na shida ya kiwanja.
Residents are now calling on relevant authorities to step in, clarify the ownership status and safeguard the community's right to the land. Brenda Korir, CBS News, Uasin Gishu.
Now that story from Jep Koechkori from Uasin Gishu County takes us for a break. Please keep staying tuned at CBS News Kenya as we have more in store for you. Stay tuned.
Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier. Looking to build a better future in the Gulf? Exciting job opportunities in Saudi Arabia for Kenyans. Competitive Manpower International Limited is currently recruiting for a wide range of skilled and semi-skilled positions. We are now hiring helpers for 1,200 Saudi riyals, steel fixers at 1,500 Saudi riyals, shuttering carpenters at 1,500 Saudi riyals, masons at 1,500 Saudi riyals, charge hands at 1,500 Saudi riyals, foremen at 1,800 Saudi riyals, scaffolders at 1,200 Saudi riyals, welders at 1,500 Saudi riyals, and plumbers at 1,500 Saudi riyals. Call us today on 020-222-4844 or 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Act. First opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates.
Well, welcome back. This is CBS News at 9 p.m. Now let's proceed to our bulletin tonight. The ongoing heavy rains have continued to wreak havoc across the country, causing widespread destruction. The rains have triggered floods and landslides that have brought untold destruction to the communities.
In Murang'a County, several families have been left homeless and multiple roads have been damaged. Authorities are urging the residents in high-risk areas to relocate to safer grounds. Judy Charlo reports.
In the village of Kagina Kibudha in Kangema constituency, one family has been left grappling with the wrath of landslides, which have caused huge losses in their home. The family, trying to come to terms with the unfortunate incident, has explained the overnight ordeal that left them homeless. They have expressed fears of more landslides, which might affect the remaining parts of their land, a situation that has forced them to seek refuge in the neighboring areas.
Nyumba imelaliwa na mchanga, na kuna vitu zingine zilikuwa huko ndani kama vitanda, yani kila kitu ya nyumba imelaliwa huko. Nimebaki bila kitu.
Tunakaa na hofu sana kwa sababu hii mvua ni ya Mungu na inaonekana itaendelea kunyesha. Ilikuwa na radi na grumo, kwa hivyo sisi tuna hofu.
Ina miezi mitatu kutoka ilipojengwa na sasa imeboromokewa, kwa hivyo hawana matumaini. Kwa hivyo tungewaomba serikali na watu wa area hii na watu wote ambao ni marafiki wao, tusimame na wao tuwarudishie tumaini tena.
Tulikuwa tumasikia ili magurudumu the whole night, kuamkia asubuhi kuingia hapa tukapata, yani hatujaona maneno kama hiyo tena. Barabara haipitiki.
The rains have affected critical infrastructure, making the Kanyenyaine to the road impassable due to landslides, subsequently endangering the safety of motorists.
And we are requesting all the residents in Kangema and Kanyenyaine to give us some time, because the landslide has affected quite a number of pipes, but we are on it. We will be making sure that the flow resumes soon.
Nafaa watu wawe waangalifu sana, waangalie mahali wenye wanakaa, ndio waone kama kuna sababisho inaweza tokea ya kichanga, watu wakuwe wanahamia mahali wenye watakaa kama hawana shinda, ndio at least wazuie mafuniko.
Relevant government authorities have pleaded with those living in highly risky areas to move to safer grounds as a precautionary measure, with families affected receiving relief aid.
Tulipotumwa hapa tukaona kweli hiyo nyumba ilikuwa imegongwa vibaya, na mheshimiwa leo ametutuma tuwaletee chakula kama first aid, tukigojea msaada mwingine.
For CBS TV, I'm Judy Chalo.
Well, thank you, Judy, for that report. Now, moving on, quarry workers in Mandamaweni village, Lamu County, have been urged to stop overloading and mistreating donkeys. The village is home to over 200 quarry workers who have been advised to stop overloading and mistreating their donkeys.
The workers who primarily deal in building blocks and ballast entirely depend on donkeys to transport their commodities. Mwagunga Thoya has the story.
The quarry workers entirely depend on donkeys to ferry their commodities to the market. Speaking during a donkey welfare and treatment event organized by the Donkey Sanctuary Lamu office, County Veterinary Officer Felix Rachonyo said overloading is still a major challenge facing the beast of burden. He called for concerted efforts from all to ensure all the donkey rights, including medical care, food and shelter, are taken care of.
Zamani tulikuwa tunaumia, lakini siku hizi hali ile ya maumivu imepungua. Kwa hivyo nashukuru sana Donkey Sanctuary ambao walikuja kuintroduce, maana pale mwanzo tulikuwa tunapoteza punda, kama nilipoteza punda watatu. Lakini baada ya kuwa kuna ile attendance ya now and then, nakuta ya kwamba wale punda wangu wametunzika vizuri, na kwa hivyo nina matumaini sikosi kitu cha kuweza kunifaidi jamii. Pia hapa unakuta ya kwamba kuna mtu anaweza akaihaya, ukaenda ukachukua vifaa mahali na ukamletea. Maybe kuna vitu za duka, unaweza enda kule pale airport na ukazilete hapa, zikawa kuna urahisi.
Some of the miners interviewed acknowledged the benefits brought about by donkeys, vowing to fully protect the animals. They pleaded for more veterinary officers to be deployed to Mandamaweni to help treat their animals whenever they fall sick.
Tunafunga punda wetu, tunaenda tunaleta nao ndani. So chenye naweza kusema, punda wanatusaidia sana. Na pia madaktari wetu pia ni wachache. Tungeomba waongezwe wawe wengi, kwa sababu wakati mwingine unakuta tuko na shida. Punda anaweza kuwa amepata ugonjwa ghafla ama ameumia.
Donkeys are an integral part of Lamu's culture and heritage and are the only means of transport in places like Lamu Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage City, where vehicles and other modern modes of transportation are not permitted. Mwagunga Thoya, CBS News TV, Lamu County.
Now, moving on now to matters sports, Carom Pool, a game with an Indian origin, is gaining traction in Lamu and Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Enthusiasts in the region are now appealing for sponsorship to help grow the sport and introduce it more to young people. Mwagunga Thoya reports on that from Kilifi.
Carom is now emerging to be the most loved game by residents of this historical town, attracting individuals of all ages, tribes, and diverse professions, hence promoting unity and peace.
Hii Carom japokuwa ni mchezo ambao umetoka India, even though tumekuja kuurithi pia, kwa sababu it's not our culture, it's a culture from India, so we have just inherited. Kingine ni kwamba haina tofauti na pool. The only difference in pool we play 1 by 1. Hapa pia tunaweza cheza 1 by 1, tunaweza cheza 2 by 2. But the arrangement kwanza ile game it is just the same like pool. Tunaanza hivyo mpaka kumalizia. So we can play 2 by 2 or 1 by 1, just like pool.
Every time you pass by Mkunguni Square, which is smack right in the middle of the old town, you ought to spot gatherings composed of both young and the elderly, busy playing carom while others are standing or seated just to spectate the game.
Tunasema kwamba inakuza umoja, kwa sababu umoja ambao unakuzwa hapa, wachezaji wenyewe si mahususi, yani we don't have professional hapa. So kumaanisha kwamba si watu ambao ati kuna walimu, tunaweza kuwa na askari, tunaweza kuwa na mahmali, tunaweza kuwa na wavuvi. So watu tunacheza na tunaingiliana na kila mtu. Na tunaweza cheza na wageni, foreigners. Sometimes unakuta wazungu wamekuja, wanaangalia, then wanatamani, we give them chance.
During periods such as Ramadan, Carom has helped those fasting to pass time, hence avoid getting overpowered by saum or falling into worldly admirations and temptations.
So there is unity all over. We don't have racism here. And yes, there is no racism. You can play any of the class. Ikiwa ni mzungu, mwafrika, unamtajiri, maskini. So unaona, ukiangalia hali vile utakuta kwamba watu wamejumuika hapa ni tofauti. As I speak, mwalimu pale, there is a head teacher. So unaona, we are with him. Ukija upande huo ni mfanya biashara. Mzee wetu ni mwanabiashara. So we are with him. Ukija kwa mwingine hawa ni mhamani wa punda, wa nini. So we are together.
Lovers of the game now want various sponsors, including the county and national government, and well-wishers to chip in and help popularize Carom by introducing local tournaments, both within and outside Lamu. Mwagunga Thoya, CBS Lamu County.
Well, now having done the political matters and current affairs matters news, now it's time for business.
Let's welcome Isanda Cynthia for Business Market Sphere. Stay tuned for more.
Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum, gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88-888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier. Looking to build a better future in the Gulf? Exciting job opportunities in Saudi Arabia for Kenyans. Competitive Manpower International Limited is currently recruiting for a wide range of skilled and semi-skilled positions. We are now hiring helpers for 1,200 Saudi riyals, steel fixers at 1,500 Saudi riyals, shuttering carpenters at 1,500 Saudi riyals, masons at 1,500 Saudi riyals, charge hands at 1,500 Saudi riyals, for men at 1,800 Saudi riyals, scaffolders at 1,200 Saudi riyals, welders at 1,500 Saudi riyals, and plumbers at 1,500 Saudi riyals. Call us today on 020-222-4844 or 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Act fast, opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates. Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum, gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier. In the fast-paced world of business, every decision counts. Today, we dive into the stories shaping our economy, from key financial moves to market-changing developments. Good evening, this is Isanta Cynthia, and let us start our business bulletin, where Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi led a high-level meeting with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in Washington. The meeting included key IMF departments within Kenya's governance and anti-corruption frameworks being top of the discussions. The meeting, which was part of the 2025 spring meetings, has called for efforts in accountability mechanisms to reinforce public trust. This follows a request by the IMF to strengthen frameworks and reduce corruption, with the Treasury embracing IMF's governance diagnostic assessment. This assessment is part of a detailed review aimed at evaluating Kenya's governance practices and comparing with global standards. In a bid to evaluate vulnerabilities and guide reforms, includes improving financial management, reducing corruption, and strengthening accountability. During the meeting, CS John Mbadi called for sustained efforts to strengthen institutional capacity and legal frameworks. Present in the meeting included Public Secretary Dr. Chris Kiptoo, IMF senior officials such as Vito Gaspar and Jan Leo, Director of the Legal Department. Moving on to our next story. Heavy rains that pounded Nairobi yesterday left a trail of disruption across the city. Flooded roads brought traffic to a standstill, stranding motorists and passengers for up to 6 hours in some areas. The transport chaos extended to the food sector, where delivery delays and spoilage of perishable goods pushed traders into losses. Market reports indicate that vendors lost up to 30% of their daily stock, with some areas recording price surges of 10 to 15% on essentials like vegetables and fruits due to reduced supply. With more rains expected in the coming days, concerns are growing over worsening transport snarl-ups and a possible spike in food prices, especially in informal markets that depend on timely supplies. Cynthia Musyoki has more.
Heavy rains hit Nairobi yesterday, causing widespread flooding and severely disrupting transport across the city. Major roads were submerged, leaving motorists stranded for hours. Public service vehicles struggled to navigate the flooded routes, while others were forced to cancel trips entirely. The city came to a near standstill as traffic flow was heavily affected in several areas. People indoors. Several hotel owners reported that regular customers, especially those relying on public transport, were unable to reach their premises. Some hotels remained empty for hours, and many fear that if the rains continue, business will suffer even further.
Jana kumenyesha mvua mbaya, kwanza barabara hii yetu kulikuwa kunanyesha vibaya. Kwanza kuna drainage walikuwa wanatengeneza chini au kwa wanatengeneza poa. Bei ilipanda, lakini makastoma hawakutokea vile wanapendanga. Wengine walikuwa mvua ilikuwa inanyesha mingi, wengine wanajiza maupa ya senge, bolt yoyote, lakini hatukufanya kazi poa vile tunafanyanga kazi.
Those were some of the sentiments shared by business owners from transport and food services in matters regarding the floods that occurred yesterday night. Cynthia Musyoki, CBS News, Nairobi.
Mazingira Odyssey brings together changemakers, scientists and researchers together at Kenya Meteorological Head Office at Nairobi to celebrate this year's National Planet Earth Day to focus on the urgent need for climate restoration. With global temperatures rising by 1.2 degrees Celsius since the pre-industrial era, we're seeing more frequent droughts and intense rainfall. In Kenya alone, over 3 million people have been affected by climate-related disasters in the past few years, threatening food security and infrastructure. As the climate deepens, this event highlights the importance of embracing diversity in finding sustainable solutions that will protect our future. Let us have a look.
A voice of change makers, artists, researchers, scientists to talk about our restoration journeys and why it is important to embrace our diversities and talk about the solutions for the nation and for the people at the grassroots.
My name is Peter Murgor, Disaster Risk Reduction and Cash Manager with the Kenya Red Cross Society. Just call on everyone to be careful and mindful of our planet Earth, our environment. How are we conserving? How are we using? How are we managing our waste? How are we managing the water resources that are available to us? It is unfortunate that oftentimes, of course, we see a lot of waste piling. It's unfortunate that oftentimes we see environmental degradation by cutting down trees and not replacing them, by polluting the environment, by not observing measures that can contribute to environmental preservation. But as we celebrate the Planet Earth Day, we just challenge every community member. It's your responsibility, it is my responsibility to conserve the environment, plant trees, manage your waste carefully, use, reuse, recycle what you can recycle, and let's not spoil or degrade the environment further, but let's conserve our environment.
Equity Group and KCB Group are set to divest at least 30% of their stakes in the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC subsidiaries. This move comes in response to a new regulation introduced by the DRC's central bank, which requires all banks operating in the country to have a minimum of 4 unrelated shareholders, with each holding at least 15% of the bank shares. Currently, both Equity and KCB own approximately 85% of their respective subsidiaries, Equity, BCDC, and Trust Merchant Bank. Under the new regulation, both banks will need to restructure their ownership before the 2026 deadline to comply with the DRC's banking sector requirements. This directive aims to promote more diversified ownership and financial stability in the DRC's banking industry encouraging greater participation from local and unrelated investors. That's all for today's business update. Stay with us at CBS News as we continue to track the trends, the numbers, and the news that matter to you. Smart business, smart you. Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum, gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier. Looking to build a better future in the Gulf? Exciting job opportunities in Saudi Arabia for Kenyans. Competitive Manpower International Limited is currently recruiting for a wide range of skilled and semi-skilled positions. We are now hiring helpers for 1,200 Saudi riyals, steel fixers at 1,500 Saudi riyals, shuttering carpenters at 1,500 Saudi riyals, masons at 1,500 Saudi riyals, charge hands at 1,500 Saudi riyals, foremen at 1,800 Saudi riyals, scaffolders at 1,200 Saudi riyals, welders at 1,500 Saudi riyals, and plumbers at 1,500 Saudi riyals. Call us today on 020-222-4844 or 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721-506627 or 0733-392180. Act fast, opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates.
That was Isanda Cynthia with Smart Business. Thank you so much for that. Now keep staying tuned for more subsequent bulletins for tomorrow as we wrap up the show. I am Patricia Alwanga.
And I am Shadrach Kareria. And remember, tomorrow we have something to follow up, including the procession of the body of Pope Francis. I'll be going through several estates in Roma. We'll be bringing you that information tomorrow. So keep it CBS News and continue following to our other program. But for now, on behalf of CBS News and everybody who has made this bulletin successful tonight, from our correspondents all over the country, from our editors and everyone, we wish you a very good night.